For a long time now, the police of this country has been under attack. They have been told that they're racist. They have been told that they are police brutality. They have been told that they are this or that. They've been sued. Their lives have been destroyed. They have been killed. They have some have even had to go into hiding. The people have been lied to about the police. And so as a result of that, the liars, the ones that want total chaos in the country, have shut down the police for the most part and opened the jail cells doors for the inmates to run the insane asylum. And it's a mess. It is a real mess. And now police are under attack. And some of the cities and states can't even find police, can't even hire them because fewer and fewer of men are applying to become police officers. And then they want to take away your Second Amendment so you can't protect yourself from that because they want you scared. And then in the states, some of the states where you do have a Second Amendment, they say, okay, we'll let you have your guns, but you got to lock them away in a cell box somewhere. So if someone break in, you're going to have to tell them, hold on for a minute, I got to go in here and get my gun. Wait. While they're protected, bodyguards armed up themselves, at our expense, by the way. But the police has been taken away from you. Do you ever wonder how bad will it get? And a lot of people are afraid to wonder that because if they wonder that, it's going to bring on more fear. So you're like, you're darn if you do, and you're darn if you don't. I don't give a darn if he does. Come home, Paul. I won't accept him. It's a mess. What's happening to the police in our country is pure evil. And I remember when they were Michael Brown, all those people, remember? Just some of the horrible people. When they were come in contact with the cops and then obey the cops and threaten the cops and carried on, when different blacks were doing that, they would blame the cop and not the black. And then they would have like funerals for those that was taken down, funerals for thugs like they were something, kings, with the intent to deceive the people and bring in socialism. And look what's happening in our country, around the country. And it's not just happening in the inner cities. It's out of control in the inner cities, but they have taken their stuff to the suburbs. And that's what evil does. Inside of you and outside of you, inside of others, if you don't deal with it and overcome it. I happen to know cops, know some, and they're some of the most committed men you ever want to meet. Wake up every morning, put their lives on the line, leave their children and wives behind, and go out and put their lives on the line, knowing that they're hated, that they're falsely accused, and that if they should run into a black or a Hispanic, that the media is going to accuse the cop and not the black or the Hispanic. If they had a fight with a white person, they don't care. It won't be on the news. I don't know if you heard about this or not. It is getting bad, folks. This is from CBS. 2 Connecticut police officers who was fatally shot on Wednesday appear to have been tricked to respond to a home, have been tricked to respond to a home by a fake 911 call. Watch this from CBS.
This is breaking news.
I'm Tony Aiello with a major update on what now looks like the fatal ambush of police officers in Bristol, Connecticut. Sergeant Dustin DeMonte and Officer Alex Hamzy were shot and killed overnight. Connecticut State Police now say the officers were responding to a false 911 call about a domestic disturbance involving two brothers. When the cops arrived at 310 Redstone Hill Road, the brothers allegedly opened fire, killing the two officers and injuring a third, Alec Iarota. Police killed suspect Nick Brutcher and injured his brother Nathan Brutcher. We're still waiting for a better understanding of how the deadly events unfolded. For now, Bristol is plunged into grief with flowers, candles, and bunting at the police department. Sergeant DeMonte was married. He had two children with his wife, Laura. They were expecting a third. Officer Hamzy, also married to a woman named Katie. He's a member of a prominent Bristol family. These officers leave behind many grieving loved ones and a community that is already uniting, saying it's ready to support these families.
Amazing. I'm surprised that one man would go and become a cop today. Just one. And the sad thing about it, you're putting these blacks in office and heads of police departments and things like that. They hate the cops too. They're gonna make it worse. They don't like the cops. They blame the cops too. It's like you're putting wood on the fire. I remember years ago now, when I used to hear the so-called leaders, the black leaders, always complaining about how bad the cops was. Racist. And the young blacks were hearing that, and I used to say, hey, don't speak that way about the cops. That's not true. The young people are going to believe it, and they're not going to obey the cops because they're already angry. They're angry at their mothers. The blacks hate their mothers and grandmothers, and they're yearning for their fathers. And you stupid so-called leaders telling them it's the cops' fault. When they go out, they're not going to follow the instructions of the officers, and then more will be killed, and then you blame that on the cops. And that's exactly what happened. But I never thought that these people would be in office adding to the problem. May those two officers' soul rest in peace. Can you just think about that? If the story is true, allegedly, two brothers ambushed these people, calling 911, cops running out there, thinking they're going to help, protect, and to serve, and they get killed. It was a setup. If that's true, that's evil. And I'm just wondering if the shooters were black. Alleged shooters who were black. What a sad way to live. I just never thought I would see this happening in my country. Did you ever, just think about that. Instead of respecting the cops now, they're being ambushed. They're being shot at. They're being killed. They're being cursed out. And then the Black Lives Matter people go out and hold a rally blaming the cops. What do we want? Dead cops. They're getting it now. When do we want it? What do we want? Pigs in a blanket. When do we want it? Now. Well, they're getting the pigs in the blanket. And instead of being punished, the fallen Messiah, Barack Obama, invited them to the White House some of the leaders of that radical group. And yet you want to put blacks in office and women. Are you that crazy? Are you that blind? Things worked when America was controlled by men. They didn't work this way. They're not going to work this way. America is not the America that you imagine anymore. It's not. You have to lie to yourself now to say America is great. Because the people are not great. So America is a third world country. It's not the America that you imagine. They're bringing the illegals over here, allowing them to come across the border and putting them in $400 a night hotels in New York. This is not the America you imagine. Soon, the America that we had will be forgotten, period. And this will become the norm, the abnormal norm. Not the America you imagine. According to Yahoo News, a 91 so-called civil rights, well, they don't say so-called, I say so-called, because the civil rights movement was a socialist movement in order to deceive the people and control them for personal gain. The civil rights movement was worse than slavery itself, worse than abortion. And abortion was worse than slavery. Now the civil rights movement beat out abortion. According to Yahoo News, a 91-year-old civil rights and education activist, and I'm saying so-called civil rights, right? An education activist, was stabbed multiple times while walking her dog. Walk the dog. Who let the dog out? Walking the dog. A 91-year-old civil rights and education activist was stabbed multiple times while walking her dog in Boston Franklin Park on Tuesday night. Watch this.
Boston police did a line search looking for evidence and an attacker. 91-year-old Jean McGuire was stabbed multiple times in Franklin Park around 8:30 last night.
He knocked her down, and she started fighting. And he was kicking and punching her and hitting her, and she kicked him between his legs.
McGuire took the helm as executive director of Medco in 1973 during school busing in Boston. Her sister says she's so thankful McGuire will recover. Many worried and warned McGuire about being alone in the park.
She says, well, hello, I say, Jean, and so it's unfortunate, but our prayers are with her.
Management is everything from maintenance for safety issues, a few more call boxes, a regular police patrol.
Her spirits are high, and she's mad. She's mad as hell.
Maybe she should have had a sign on saying that she was a civil rights activist. Hey, don't hurt me. I'm a civil rights activist. Civil rights and education activist. See how much that would have done for her. Civil law. This is amazing. What a mess. Eva doesn't care what color you are or what kind of activist you are or you're not. It doesn't care. You got to overcome evil with good. Amazing stuff, folks. It's just commonplace now. All up and down the country. It's funny, not funny, but it's interesting that there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. There are not enough red states or suburbs that you can run to because they have been told, hey, go out to the suburbs. They've been told that for years too. Why are you killing your own neighbor? Why don't you go out into the suburbs and destroy out there? And that has caught on. And don't worry, the police ain't going to be there. We're going to make sure there are no police. Where's the love? And they call that love. Oh, we're looking out for the people. Slavery was wrong. Jim Crow was wrong. Systemic racism. All lies. All lies. What a mess. It's time to wake up. Come out of your sleep and slumber and wake up. Each individual has to do it themselves, right? Well, you can't do it of yourself, but you can pay attention to the not you, and the Spirit of God, the light, the love will wake you up. It will. It really, really will. But if you're doing it intellectually, it ain't going to work. You will be deceived that you have it and you don't.